Well, here we are once again, that lovely, peaceful place called America that's out killing people, dropping bombs on elementary schools, killing young girls. 158, I believe, was the last count. That's peaceful. That's the Peace Commission, or Peace Panel, whatever the hell you want to call it, that Trump made up, which is just a bunch of animals that have nothing better to do with their time than listen to Trump long. So, as I sit here thinking about this stuff, we've had, let's see, we're bombing the shit out of Iran, and with the Israelis, the Americans have stopped. The Israelis are doing it. We lost three jets to friendly fire in Kuwait, and I don't know how the fuck that happened yet. And they still mad at us about something? I don't know. I don't think they're mad about us for anything. They don't live in the country. Their leadership does not live in the country. We found that out during they left during the first Desert Storm or something. When they started that, they left. They went to London and lived. They're ridiculously rich, and don't have to worry about anything. So they don't. To be that rich, I don't know if I'd ever want to be that rich again. I don't know. I was at one time, but I don't think I want to be anymore. I'm kind of happy what I'm doing. Of course, it would help if the rest of my family cared about money as much as I did. At least, protecting it for the future, which I don't have left. But, anyhow, uh, so like I said, you know, we had three jets hit by friendly fire. We bombed a elementary school and killed roughly 100 and it's either 138 or 158 young children. I think the Israelis did that because they're into genocide, which for a country that's how they, you know, that's the shit that happened to them during World War II. How the hell do they go around doing that now? That just doesn't make a lot of sense, folks. But that's Israel for you. They don't make a lot of sense about anything. That's, my windows are closed, but I got a draft someplace. All right. That's just me. My mind wanders. It's old age. My wife is sick. Uh, you know that. But she had something happen to her yesterday that was very similar to food poisoning, only they say it wasn't. She has a bowel problem, and she ate in this restaurant that I was afraid of when I looked at it. But we ate there yesterday. I didn't eat the chicken. She ate the chicken. She got sick. I don't know if anybody else got sick. I don't think so. And she ruined the day for a lot of people. And I don't like to see that. But she's feeling better now. She's sleeping finally. She needs to sleep. She was up all night. Trust me, I know. Okay, it's I for me it looked like food poisoning because it's just when I had food poisoning, everything was the same that what she went through. 15 minutes after eating that chicken piece of chicken, I was throwing my guts up on the way home from this guy's house, and was up all night, stomach cramps, everything. Next day, stomach cramps. Till about I started drinking. I think I drank a gallon of milk, and that finally took care of the problem. But I was never. I don't think I was 100% for a long time after that. And I'm a chef, and I know what not to eat, and I still ended up eating it. So that's. But I don't eat what they serve. These they pastels they call them with the stuff with chicken. I don't eat that stuff. I don't like meat that's been laying around for a while. I don't care if it's under a heat lamp. I don't like it, especially with pasta, because pasta contains yeast, and yeast contains bacteria. So, the meat doesn't stay as long as it does if it's just left by itself. So, anyhow, what else is happening in the world? War. Yeah. You know what I'm waiting for? Is Trump's going to keep this up. And one way he's going to stop some of the problems is reinstitute the draft. And when he does that, because the selective service still exists, you still have to register for it. They just don't do the draft anymore. Once they start doing the draft, wow, then you'll see the protests. Because kids don't want to fight for nothing, they want to fight for something. They don't even want to fight for something anymore. So that would be, I think he's not doing that because he realizes that it'd be the end of his presidency and the end of the Republican Party. So, and that's the only thing that's going to save this country is the end of those two entities, his presidency and the Republican Party. Not that the Democratic Party is that much better, and that it's, more honest or anything like that, or less filled with white racists or anything else. It's just that their policies are somewhat moderate, and that would just, help a little bit now. Monday morning, nobody's here. Well, hey, I'm here. I don't really want to be here right now, but I'm here. I took I showed you the piece of work I was doing. That it's almost, it's 90% finished now. You could see it maybe a little bit. You'll see it later when it's either I painted gray or but anyhow, right here there was a little piece of wood, and I picked up a knife without my gloves on, and went like that, and I sliced my finger right to the bone, and it hurts. And I used crazy glue to stick it together. He said, "Oh man, you knew that from the army?" Let me tell you something. When I was in the army, crazy glue was a dream of somebody's underwear. You know what I'm saying? Jesus. No, I just picked it up since then. Watching something on TV or something. They actually make a surgical glue now that they use, but they don't use it so much instead of stitches. They'll use it in from some minor cuts and stuff like that, and they use it for sealing the stitches, so they don't come unglued and stuff like that. It's but I used crazy glue. So anyhow, um, that was that, and we have Trump talking about wanting to deport all unemployed workers. Now, my problem with that is that most of them are born and raised in this country. Unemployed people going on unemployment. They take advantage of that for the most part. Uh, they're U.S. citizens, and where are they going to deport them to? Russia, the Ukraine? What? I don't know. He makes a lot of wild, crazy statements, and they're distractions from the real problem, which is the fact that he's a moron. He's not the highly intelligent, most popular president ever. He's the dumbest, most unpopular president ever. So, I'm sure that'll get back to him sometime during the next year or so, and I'll be off the air for good. But that's besides the point. I'm getting tired of doing this anyhow because nobody listens. Nobody pays attention when they do listen. That's the thing. It's when I tended bar, people, I was a typical bartender guy who come in and start talking about their girlfriends, baseball, or something like that. And I would give them a real good piece of advice that based upon a lot of it's based upon psychology that I studied and that I read about in the Psychology Today because I kept up with that stuff to have stuff to talk about. Some of it was that I had the knowledge from the news, like I discussed with somebody about I miss newspapers because of a little thing called filler articles that used to go into the bottom of a column when they didn't have anything else to put in there. and they didn't want to, it was an empty space in the paper, so they throw these little articles in there, and you used to learn more from those little articles than you did from the whole damn newspaper. But they were very interesting because they weren't popular stories and whatnot. But that's another story. So that's the deal now. You don't know enough now. Information is getting scarce uh, for you to make a judgment call on anything. Uh, and it's going to get scarcer as they turn around and they say, all right, we're going to get rid of CNN's going to be the same as Fox News. They're going to be Trump supporters now. So where do you get your news from? You know, guys don't like to throw their lives away, their careers away, but which is what happens when you do that. Uh, when you do something you don't want, you're not supposed to do. Like I'll give you an example. What happens down here? This happened down here. There was a young woman. Well, it was a woman. I guess she was in her 30s. She just had a baby on television. She was a morning anchor on what they call Caracol, which is a big station down here, TV. Okay, and she was here when I got here. She was there 5, 6, 7 years, something like that, I guess. And she made the mistake of criticizing the president of Colombia. Rightfully so. Wasn't a bullshit story, but it was a criticism. And the unfortunately, the guys that owned Caracol supported this president, and she was just gone. You know, no reason why she was gone. She's not working anywhere that I know about. She was a good reporter. She came from CNN in the United States. She had worked for CNN International while she was in the United States. Her Pete was Washington, D.C. She knew what the hell she was talking about. Nobody else is quite that informed right now. I'm not saying they're stupid. I'm just saying they're not quite that informed. And their rhetoric comes from a different point rather than an independent point. But that's what happened there, and that's what happens in America, that's what he's trying to do with Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and everybody else. He's trying to get these guys off the air. But these TV stations have this other problem. They like making money, and these guys make a lot of money for them. So, it's hard to deal with, except Colbert's gone, or will be soon, if he isn't already. I forget what. They fired him, and he's got a termination date. But, you know, I believe that, you're going to be able to find people, podcasts all over the world, and that's where the news is going to come from. Podcasts from individuals like myself. I don't have the energy or the ability to go out and research anything anymore, so I have to be able to get it and sift through it from the internet. And I don't know how long I'm going to be. That's going to be a practical solution to it, but and like I say, I don't do actual news broadcasts. I'm up here giving my opinion about stuff. It's like they had this guy they arrested in Austin, Texas for a mass shooting. He killed 2, wounded 14 over the weekend, Saturday or something like that. And they're trying to figure out if it's related to Trump's actions because he was wearing a Muslim t-shirt, Muslim t-shirt and something else, indicated that he might have been pissed off about Trump. Well, being pissed off about Trump doesn't necessarily mean it's a religious thing. You know, Trump is secret memos apparently have materialized, showing how Donald Trump is going to block or steal the 2026 midterms. And one of the things I know about that is that that information is put out there. Some of it's not even real, but they put that out there so that people will go, why the fuck should I bother? And low turnouts always favor the incumbents. Okay, so if they get a low turnout, then the Republicans are going to maintain control. And if they maintain control, Life as you know it in the United States is done and finished. And your people are going to have to try to figure out what's going on. I personally don't have a clue. So don't look for me for answers for that stuff, you know? It's just not there. Oh, Jim, you made it. You're never late, Jim. You can go check out most of the same is just rehashing. I posted a regular video already, so because I didn't get much sleep last night. I've been up. My, I said like that before. My wife has been sick and all night with very bad stomach problems and very painful stomach problems, and it's very frustrating for me because I ask her, what can I do for her? Can I get her? And other than bringing her a glass of water, that's it, And she calls her sons and talks to them and doctors and everything. And I have basically no idea what's going on. And, you know, hey, well, Jim, I showed you this. This is almost done. A simple, very simple Maui head, but I almost cut my finger off yesterday. Uh, just trying to remove a little. You could still see. You can't see it, but there's a little nick here that I wanted to remove. And as I was sanding it, and I just I picked up the knife and I went to do it. And that never do that. Always put the glove on first. Even for a little project like that. That's just stupidity on my part. I cut it very deep. Uh, and used crazy glue to put it back together again. So crazy glue. Yeah, I watch television, man. They actually make a product now called surgical cement, which is basically crazy glue in a more sterile container, and it's used for keeping stitches together and stuff like that. The wood I use is called basswood. It's lemonwood, some people call it. It's very popular for carving and whatnot because it's the very limited green. It all goes in one direction. It's straight, and it's very soft and easy to carve. You know, but it also every once in a while screws with you. You end up getting cut because you get careless. Because I was in a hurry. Don't ever do anything in a hurry. Seriously, it's a when you're if you're a wood carver or if you're anything, don't ever do anything in a hurry. It's stupidity. All right, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. And I did, and it hurts a lot. And even with the crazy glue, it's still bleeding a little bit. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I put peroxide. I change the bandage every few hours, and I put peroxide and neosporin on it. As well as everything else I can find, and it's getting better. So we'll wait and see. But I can't. It's very awkward. I can't even put my hand in my pocket, and that's where my money is. Well, that's a good thing. Probably I don't spend my money now. But yeah, the head is coming along. It would have been done today, but I'm not touching it today. So I have to wait till a little later in the week, I guess. But getting back to the story here, which is the war. Uh, it seems like you always have a war. This peacenik, supposedly what Trump is. He's got his peace commission going or peace panel, whatever you want to call it, and he goes out and starts a war, and he's telling people now that the big wave's yet to come, which is nice. Why don't you just put up uh, TV commercials telling them how you're going to fight the war, so our enemies know exactly what you're going to do. That's Trump, stupid, dumb, idiot. Him and Hegseth. And of course, Trump's in Mar-a-Lago, turned his ballroom into a situation room or something like that because he isn't going anywhere. He's not going to fly now. He's chicken shit. Because now there's a lot of people that want him dead now, and the numbers are growing, and he's doing everything he can to encourage that. So I don't understand why. because if you take away the voting rights, how are the people going to change the government then? You don't think it's going to be so great they're never going to want to change? People always want to change the government. When it's great, there's somebody that wants to control. It's just the way life is. People want to be in charge all the time. I don't. When I was in the army, they made me a squad leader. I said, "Fuck this! I don't want this job." And I screwed up enough to get out of it, but not to get myself in trouble. I don't know, Jim. That doesn't make sense, but you know, yeah, it's possibly bit off more than he can chew, but I don't know. He's being attacked. They're attacking. The most amazing thing is we had the biggest loss we had so far was three jets shot down in Kuwait by friendly fire. Okay, that's the biggest. We've had four Americans die, but that's just an unfortunate reaction to war. But it happens, and he knew it, and he told the American people, and I guess they're accepting it. I don't know, I wouldn't. But friendly fire, yeah, it happens. But three at one, in relatively the same area, the same country, that's something's wrong there, folks. And it's our defense equipment that's doing it. Oh man, good old Donnie. You know what I'm saying? All right, listen, I gotta go. I gotta go take a shower. It's about 400 degrees in the room I'm working in, and I'm having trouble breathing because it's so hot. So listen, you guys take care. Find that subscribe button, give it a whack or something, just for kicks. And then if you really feel that you don't like me or something, go hit the thumbs down or something and write a nasty comment to me. I'll respond. Trust me. All right, to the nasty ones, anyhow. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. So behave yourselves.